Makarios. Y'all are Greek experts already. Tears like, I'm not saying that. Y'all know Greek already. Makarios. This is a very interesting notion, and it's really interesting, Izzy, because of the context that surrounds it. So let's do a little background. Can we do that? Can we just sit for a little bit in the text? Most of us are familiar with this text, the Beatitudes. We know them really well. The songs about them. Most of y'all were looking at me weird because I was reading in the NASB. I know it in the King James. I know. But we're so familiar with them. We have a song, blessed are ye when men shall revile you. We know these things. And the notion of them is lost in our current understanding of it. So let's break this thing down real quick so we can see what Jesus means when he says, blessed are you when men shall revile you and say all manner of evil against you falsely. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is thy reward in heaven. We need to know what he's talking about when he sits in this text. So backtrack with me for just a little bit. At the open of this text, you see the Bible tells us that Jesus sees crowds. And when he sees the crowds, he goes up on a mountain and sits down. So Jesus is in Galilee, just for your records. He's in Galilee, he's preaching, he's teaching, he's doing his thing. And as we've discovered over the course of our study, we've discovered that when the gospel of Jesus Christ is preached in its pure, uncut, unadulterated form, it draws people from all walks of life and puts them in front of the master. I would suggest to you that it is impossible to preach the gospel and not catch somebody's ear. And so Jesus is preaching and teaching, and the text tells us that he's drawn crowds to him where he is. And so when he sees the crowd, he gets up and goes and sits down on a mountain and begins to talk to the disciples. And he's teaching them in the presence of the crowd. He's dropping this knowledge on them. He says, blessed are you. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who they're going to be comforted. Blessed are. And we're like, man, this is great. This is cool. Jesus has given us all these things to live by. I like it. But I can imagine that as the crowd is listening to him, they're looking at him weirdly. They have puzzled expressions on their faces. The reason why they have puzzled expressions on their faces is because Jesus is saying, blessed are you. English translation, happy are you. That's what it means. Happy are you. Happy are those who mourn. Now we're coming home. We're coming home. Let's make it a little more difficult. The English says happy. The Greek really parses this happiness and it gives it to you in its full form. In the Greek, the translation is happy, but it's happiness that is derived from being completely free from all cares in this earthly life. Makarios, blessed. It means to be completely removed from all cares in this life. Izzy, they're not with me, so I'm just going to talk to you. That you don't have a gas bill. You don't have an electric bill. You don't have a bill for your car. There's no insurance. There's no gas for your tank. That's free. You already got it. It means you don't have a car note. No payment. All right, so let's talk to some Americans. It means you walk into the hospital for treatment and leave without a bill. It means you can go to, Walmart. Walmart that's where we shop. Giant Eagle. You can walk into Giant Eagle on a non-sale day and go willy-nilly with, and get whatever you want for free. It means your kids can, Butch, pick a school. Free. But they shooting kind of low. Brandy, pick a school. Free. She's still shooting a little bit low. She's going to pick a school. Harvard, Princeton, Yale, free. Books, free. Board. Can I talk to some college students? Dare. You can go to your classes and get all the stuff you need free. I'm talking about a haircut. Now, we feel like we're struggling because it's come up to what, like 20-something now for a haircut? But ladies, I've been paying like $100 for y'all hair for years. Free. I'm talking about Kiki twist. A wash, a blowout, and a press. And then you come back tomorrow for some Bantu knots. Free. There is literally no price tag on any of the things in this life. That's what it means. It means to be free from all earthly concerns in this life. But the definition means it's a little bit more than just monetary. Watch this thing. Anybody got an ache in their body right now? Gone. Gone. Anybody having trouble with eyesight? Gone. That's LASIK. You fixed up. Anybody, let's be a little more elaborate. Anybody wish they were taller? Poof. There you go. We in the same boat, Rich. 5 Foot Club. We here. And anybody wish that you could walk through your neighborhood, no problems, no issues. Anybody wish you could have interactions with individuals and not have an argument or a problem? Done. Makarios. You are free from all earthly cares in this life. Have I missed one? Anybody got a care I didn't name? Whatever it is, put your hand up. Gone. Jesus is saying, you have no single issues at all in this life. In fact, it's so serious, AJ, that you would only use this word with royalty, like an emperor or a king, because they ain't got no problems. They don't have worries. And so you would talk to emperors and you would say Makarios, because they don't have problems. But every other one of us has issues, has grievances, has bad situations. The word, by definition, does not apply to us. But Jesus walks up to them and says, Makarios. Can I make it even more serious? These people lived in Galilee, in a place called Megiddo. This is the mountain of Megiddo, or in the Hebrew, Har, which means mountain, Har Megiddo. Sound familiar to somebody? Har Megiddo is where we get the word Armageddon. Armageddon we use to describe conditions at the end of the world. We think Armageddon, we think explosions, we think people kicking in your door, taking your bed, we think looters, we think shooters, we think all kinds of stuff when we think of Armageddon. We get the notion of Armageddon from the condition that these people lived in. Stay with me. These people lived every day in conditions that equated our understanding of the end of the world. That's how bad their life was. Can I teach you a little bit longer? The position of Megiddo, this mountain, in Galilee, it sat at the very top of Israel's property. Mountain here, desert here. So now if you want to attack Jerusalem, you got to go up and down through Megiddo. Come on, somebody. See, I love how the Bible works. Every time you see in the Bible when it says the enemies of God come from the north, it means that spiritually, but it also means that literally. You want to get into Israel, you got to go up and come right down between Megiddo and the desert. And when you do that, you're going to pass through here. You're going to pass through here. Stay with me for just a little bit longer. Now, you are a conquering army. You're trying to beat up on somebody. You are standing right here where I'm standing, and you want to beat up Stephen. In order to get to Stephen, you got to walk past Stephen's peoples. What do you think you're going to do to Stephen's peoples while you're trying to Stephen? You're going to mash them up. You are going to mash them up. So you pounce and trample all over Elder Bell, and you make your way to Stephen. But he's a little bit stronger than you thought he was. So he breaks both your legs. You know, he puts in some good work. You turn around, tuck your tail between your legs, and you start leaving, all upset. What's the last place you pass on the way out? Where do you dispel all of your aggression and anger over the beating you just took? Right here, Megiddo. On top of that, when they were conquered, people went in there, took out the people who lived there, spread them throughout, we talked about this morning, diaspora, spread them throughout the nation, the land, and then brought new people and put them there. These are displaced Jews. It's not their real home. Imagine being in a place that you're foreign to. Every time an enemy comes in, it's your door down. Every time they get beat up and they come back out, it's you they're punishing for their defeat. Because you're not pedigreed people, because you're not upstanding and you ain't got bread, you ain't got money, you ain't got a roof over your head. The government treats you any old way. They don't fix your roads. Potholes for days. Nobody comes in and plows up the snow. The police don't drive through your neighborhood. Sound familiar? That nobody comes to deal with you. You're living in a state that resembles our perception of the end of the world. Now, in that context, Jesus comes to you and says, Makarios. You're looking at him like, what? What are you talking about? What do you mean, blessed am I? What do you mean, happy am I? Free from earthly cares. You'll see this hole in my roof. Free from earthly cares. My child is dead right now. And you want to hit me with a Makarios? Can I talk to somebody here today who's dealing with a loss in your life? A death in the family? I mean, this is Bethel. We're going through. If we're honest, in the last 2 months, we have been going through here. Accidents, injuries, deaths. There's some of us sitting here right now who cannot tell you where our children are. Can't tell you. There's some of us here right now who will go home after this blessed Sabbath and look at a bill that they cannot pay. There's some of us here right now who even right now, we're fighting to stay here because our minds are taking us back to our families and the conditions that they're in. Let's just be honest. We're pressed on every side. And so half the time when somebody get up and say, bless you, it don't even really resonate because everything I'm going through is conflicting what it is you're saying to me. I don't have a stable place to live. And Jesus is talking about Makarios. Happily free are you. My mind was stretching. I'm trying to figure out what could he be thinking. And then as I read the Beatitudes, and we'll run through them because each of these Beatitudes, this is going to be a sermon by itself. But we have 7. I can't do all of them. But if you read through them, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the gentle, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they, for they shall. Blessed are they, for they shall. Blessed are they, for they shall. Watch this thing. If you read the Beatitudes, you become really intimate with what Jesus wants you to grasp here. Jesus is calling you Makarios people. He's saying, blessed are you when they. Stay with me. It means, watch this now, not if they. It's not kai, it's when. When this thing happens, you are blessed. Watch this. Jesus is saying that stuff is going to take place in your life. Let's make this thing real plain. Every single one of us in here, at some point or another, you will live in Megiddo. At some point or another, you will mourn. You will have to be small, meek, humble. You will be persecuted. You will be reviled. You will be put down. At some point in your life, stuff will not go how you plan it. And it's not just, oh, this is happenstance or this thing is small. No. At some point in your life, you will be living at the foot of a mountain called end of my world. At some point, you'll be living in a situation that is so distasteful to you that people who are looking at you will be like, man, when I see you, all I can imagine is the end of the world. But he says that you're blessed when this happens because something else will happen. Stay with me. You're blessed when you mourn because when you mourn, you will be comforted. You're blessed when they persecute you. You're blessed when you are, because you will be. Watch this notion. Makarios people, according to Jesus, he says, Makarios people are people who are living in the tension between the now and the not yet. They're people who are existing currently in less than pleasurable scenarios, but they're individuals who are looking forward to when that thing meets its end. I wish somebody was with me. By definition, it means that you are aware that your current end of the world situation is not the end for you. There's going to come something after this moment. If I can borrow a page from the old folk, I would say, weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. Watch this thing. The joy coming does not remove the fact that there will be a night. However, my attention is not focused on the night because I know that once the night ceases, joy will come in the morning. So at this point, I'm not relishing or dwelling on my current circumstance. I'm looking forward to a blessed hope. Watch this thing, because I understand that my current situation is not the end of my journey. Makarios. Yeah, I don't have it now. I may not have it tomorrow. But when it comes, yeah, it's not great for me now. It's not all together now. But when it comes, I'm struggling. I'm wrestling. If you come and look at my home life, it's a mess. I don't know what my husband's about. I don't know what my wife is about. My tendencies, my slant, they're always pointing me toward the things I should not be about. I can't seem to, I don't know when. But when it comes, those who mourn will be comforted. He wants you to see this. Watch this. First thing about Makarios people. Makarios people live in the tension. Remember this thing. You live in the tension between the now and the not yet. You're living in this tension because you're seeing what will come as if it's already now, even though you're currently fighting through the bog. Makarios folk. Second thing is, though, Makarios people have a notion that they're not Makarios on their own. I know I'm doing a lot of teaching right now, and I'll preach in a sec, but I need you to get this thing. What exists here in the Greek is this notion of a reflexive verb. I know I said a lot. Well, I'm back it. A reflexive verb simply says that an action is being done on my behalf. But this particular reflexive is a passive. Stay with me. Active. I gave my keys to Fanta. Active. Passive. Fanta gave me my keys. Watch this reflexive notion. Tier gave my keys to Fanta. Tier took my keys from Fanta. Here's the subtle difference, and we're going to run with this thing. One of them is an action that is prompted by my own activity. The other speaks to a notion of something being given to me for me. So I didn't give myself the keys. Fanta didn't give me the keys. The keys were given to me by Fanta through Tier. It's almost as if there is an agent working on my behalf so that I don't have to do the work at all. Now, when you go back and look at the text, you'll see that Jesus is saying, "Blessed are you who mourn," not because you will comfort yourself, but because you will be comforted. Oh, come on, somebody. Blessed are the meek, not because they'll take the earth, but the earth shall be given to them as an inheritance. Makarios people, watch this now, are individuals, firstly, who are living in this tension between the now and the not yet. They're folk who are looking forward for this thing as if it's now. But secondly, they're individuals who know that the task is too big for themselves. And so they're waiting for one who is greater than them to do for them. Stay with me. This is distasteful to some people, because they'll hit you with the, so this means that Christians are just supposed to sit around and do nothing, and everything will be handed to you, and you just wait passively, and all that. No. Stay with me. There is no passive waiting. In fact, the work of Makarios individuals, and we'll get more into it in part 2 and part 3, the work of Makarios individuals, watch this, comes in the existing in the middle of the tension. Watch this thing. You're not lying down on the ground. No, you're putting one foot in front of the other each day, despite what you're going through. I'm talking to folk who the enemy is running rampant in your life. And as he's doing it, he's telling you to put down the flag, let go of the banner, lay down, curl up in the fetal position, put a pacifier in your mouth, tap out because you're done. God is saying that Makarios individuals are individuals who recognize what God is going to do for them, and despite the roadblocks that are in their way, they're putting one foot in front of the other, and they're pressing on toward the mark of the high calling. They're not moving of their own accord, though. They're individuals who know that their movement is predicated by the work of God in their lives. Makarios people are people who are strong enough to continue walking in situations that would drown otherwise strengthened people. Makarios people are individuals who recognize that the situation may not look the way you want it, but despite the fact that you're met with challenges, you continue to press on even though everyone else would fall down where you are. Makarios people are prompted and pushed on by the understanding that Christ has promised you that if you would endure, if you would walk through it, if you would continue on in what he's calling you, that when you reach the end point, you would walk into a life wherein you are free all earthly cares in this life. Makarios people are individuals who are walking toward freedom in Jesus. But watch this. They get these three things. They get them. Makarios people understand that they're living in the tension between the now and the not yet. Yeah, you've won, but you don't see that thing yet. Yeah. It's finished. Look forward. It's finished. But hasn't been realized yet. 2, they're individuals who know that this work will be done for them and not of themselves. But 3, they're individuals who know that none of the two are possible without the acceptance of the giver. Because as you look around your surroundings and you see what's around you, you're going to notice the holes in the plot. You're going to see the death and the disorder and the distractions. You're going to see them because they're real. You're going to recognize your inability because of your present situation, your inability to fix them. And so as you exist in that tension and as you wait for it to be done, you recognize that the doer is the one that makes all of it possible. If Christ had not done, you would not be in the tension. If Christ had not done, so he walks into your stuff. He walks right in as you lie there broken on the floor. He sees you in that spot. He recognizes you as you're trembling from withdrawal of your sin. Come on. He recognizes the symptoms. He sees the struggle on you. He knows the brokenness. He knows it's the stuff where we've been treated unfairly in this life. He sees it. He knows it. He recognizes it. He empathizes. He walks into your situation. He kneels down beside you. And he says, Makarios. Makarios are you. I want somebody here to know today that there is freedom in Jesus from all earthly cares in this life. And we'll see this thing further next week. This freedom doesn't make you useless or oblivious to the current situation. The freedom gives you strength to operate in the current situation. Because Christians, scratch that, Makarios people are individuals who walk in what everyone else would consider the end of the world. Where everyone else would lay down dead, you stand. Any Makarios people in here today? Anybody fighting through stuff every which way you turn? Anybody dealing with all kinds of situations? I say to you today, Makarios. Look at somebody and say, Makarios. Blessed are you when them folks see you walking in Jesus, and they can I translate the King James? And they hating on you. And they're going to talk out the side of their neck at you. I am falsely. For his sake, rejoice. Be exceeding glad, because great is your reward. Not now, but in heaven. It's coming. You going to walk with me? You going to hold on? Are you going to stay in this thing? Are you Makarios people? My desire today, as we close, is that you would adopt, that I would adopt, that we would adopt this notion of a Makarios lifestyle. This thing that says that though we are tossed, we're flipped on every side. Well, watch this thing, man. Watch this thing. There's nothing in Christianity that says that the enemy will never touch you. Even Job, who escaped with his life, still had boils. There's nothing that ever says that a hand won't be laid on you. But what he says is that his Makarios call on you will move you beyond this and prepare you for what he will give you. You're weeping? Go ahead. You'll be comforted. You scared? Go ahead. He'll hold you. You're a peacemaker amongst this sea of war. Children of God. Just hold on in it.